The energy is coming on very strong for many of us, and a lot of it has to do with the actual frequency of the earth and the way that the sun is connecting to our electromagnetic fields of our body. So if you think of a machine and you think of it being recalibrated to a different frequency, that's exactly what is happening to our bodies. And so this energy is reacting with the frequency in the earth that are actually measured, scientifically measured, and it's called the Schumann's resonance. And then also the solar flares up in the universe or coming into our actual planet is actually changing our frequency in our physical bodies, but it also is recalibrating it to be able to sustain this higher frequency. So it's all about science, and it's all about the energy that's coming through, and it also affects us in every area of our life.
So how does it affect us when you're saying it changes everything? What about, what I've been feeling or experiencing over maybe the last month or so? What can I attribute to this?
Absolutely. It's called Ascension symptoms. And those like me who teach this can kind of explain that it is a normal process of your body trying to balance out. And when we talk about this new human energy, we're talking about releasing a lot of the old stuff that we use for survival. And now we're in a different frequency, a different energy, is that new things are coming at us. And these new things are to help us stand in who we are as far as divine beings and our power as humans, and also to help regulate those balances each and every day. Everyone is going through up and downs, especially this last year to two. And it's because of the solar rays coming from the sun and how it's affecting the magnetic field of planet Earth. And then we also have the energy in the earth, which is actual measurable. It's the Hertz frequency that the earth vibrates at. And so when that frequency goes higher and the solar magnetic field connects, it will physically, emotionally, mentally, and especially spiritually affect our bodies. Because we are human bodies, but we have a spiritual divineness in us. So it's very powerful if you kind of understand it. A lot of people are based in fear because it's different, and they think that something is really, really wrong with them. However, it's not. It's just the body trying to find homeostasis, which means balance, so that the body can work more effectively. More effectively. Does that make sense?
It does. And one of the questions that I would have is, how can I best support my body through this transition? Is there a way?
First of all, I would stay around positive situations, meaning understanding that the energy out there is very powerful with lower frequency, which means darkness. A lot of people understand that. And if you personally go inside and just be quiet, listen to your inner voice, which is your intuition, which is your spiritual component, which is actually your divineness. And if you get quiet and go within and realize that it's really not about you inside, what you're doing wrong, it's really about what you're doing right. And to be able to connect with that energy. So a lot of times when people are going through these ascension symptoms, they feel achy, they feel tired, they have problems sleeping. Sleeping is one of the biggest ones. Sleeping is because of how the flares are coming in on both sides of the atmosphere of the earth and how it's affecting your sleep cycles, your ROM cycles. Remember, the body's a machine. It's an electromagnetic machine that beats from your heart, but also your central nervous system. And when you breathe, it brings this energy up through all of your cells in your body and then brings them back down. And what that does, it supplies oxygen to every organ in your body. So when these are out of whack, a lot of people will have digestive problems, problems relating to people, angry, don't know why they're angry, also very happy one day and very angry the next. What is going on? It's the electromagnetic field of the earth right now, and also the changing of these energy portals that have been happening since 1987, all right, when the energy started changing. We talked about that before, about the nodes and the noles, when they actually started changing the frequency of the earth. And scientifically, it's been proven, that this is real stuff. And as we go through this, our body is trying to regulate everything. So we have to take responsibility for our body, meaning we have to do something. And a lot of times we don't know what to do. And that's where you go inside and ask, what do I need to do? And very quickly, you will get response. It's because you put that intention out, that you want to know how to help yourself. Epsom baths is really good if you're really achy. If you're really nervous, don't drink so much coffee. Do things, cleanse your body, eat better food. There's things that you can physically do to feel better, but also it's part of you taking responsibility of living in this new energy, all right? And understanding that it is going to get harder, by the way, just because the energy is rubbing up harder and harder. The thing is that understanding in a positive way that it's not a bad thing. It's a good thing. And understanding that your body is a wonderful machine that can heal itself. And that's what the healing is. It's about the inside healing. And when you think of the inside healing, you're talking about the frequency, understanding what is happening to your cellular memory in your physical body. And that includes your DNA. So we talked a little bit about the DNA and what that means. Our physical body is responding to a higher multi-dimension frequency. That's the spiritual component of it. And it will be very shortly seen by science and brought out what this magnetic field, this multi-dimensional electromagnetic field has to do with us and how we can be used. And if you look back the last 20, 30 years, all the new inventions, all the new thing in science, that's the multidimensional magnets. That's what's happening. And it's going to get higher and it's going to get better. And then it also might be harder on the body. But knowing that this is part of evolution, this is what we're here to do. It's here. It's here now. Evolution is here. The energy's here. You can tap into it. And it has all to do with your own understanding, setting the intention, meaning stating out loud. And a lot of people think, well, God just knows what's in my head. Yes, but you are God as far as the spiritual component. So in this physical body that you're in, you physically have to do something on the outside to put that energy out. And the biggest helper is staying positive. Don't go around negative people, and that's hard to do when we are living in reality. This is reality of life right now, all the stressors, and of course all the physical stuff that's happening with the frequency, with the sun and also the earth. But people's magnetic fields are so raw right now because what is happening is that your DNA, in other words, your spiritual component, and all the energy that you have encountered in all the lifetimes are within your DNA, and they came in with you. Now, this energy has the ability to ump that DNA and heal those old negative or fearful or non-positive energy that you brought in. And when you think of that, Serena, it's our survival, how we learn to survive, being humans, all right, through all of our lifetimes. But the energy is totally different now. It's a different channel, and it's a different way of understanding, but it's also about self-healing the things that you cannot see, the things, your thoughts. Thoughts is energy. It's consciousness. When you come across a negative situation, you have a choice. If you understand, it's like, okay, I do not have to take this on, or I will not take this on. This does not belong to me. And a lot of people ask, how do I protect myself from this negative energy? Well, first of all, you are a light being. You don't need any protection. It is within inside you. If you understand that you have the ability to say, only accept higher light frequency in my energy field. I only accept higher energy in my energy field. I only accept higher energy in my energy field. So you actually take on being the captain of your own ship. You take on stating it, all right? And because you state it, your DNA, yes, says, yes, I can do this. That's where you get the power, by going within. On any of that, when you experience the negative, the ups and downs in your life, ask. What I always share is go quiet. Just go quiet. Turn off your internet, first of all. Turn off your cell phone. Turn off everything and just be quiet and listen. And you will start, if you have the desire to want to move forward, to live in this higher frequency, you can do it. You can't play the victim role or blame other things for happening. You have the ability as a spiritual soul to be able to go within and tap into that ability to heal yourself. And when you get quiet, you can hear your intuition. You can hear things, how to find things, how to do things. And sometimes when you get an answer how to do things and you don't know how to do it, ask, how do I do this? Because it's all about your soul connection with this higher energy that's here now and how you live your life. We all have choices, and so far the choices is how to survive. Now it's about understanding this energy, living in this timeline of 3D reality with the energy changing, and then bringing yourself into higher frequency of ascension. And ascension means just living in a higher dimension, electromagnetic dimension in your life, and understanding it. It's all about energy. Turn off all the negative energy and put the energy, let the positive energy come in, and do it very easily, and do it religiously or every day. Do it whenever you feel out of sorts, and know that you are all right, and understand that your body is just trying to adjust and balance. And you can do that with the helpers that are all around you, always has been.
Especially,
well, first of all, humanity is changing. And the lower frequency that has been in control or have society evolved the way it is been happening for a long time. And what is happening is, because this frequency is so high, that lower frequency is coming to the light, which means it can't hide anymore. Because many of us are wakening up, especially in the US here. That is a totally different situation, but it's all connected with the energy that has been here for a long time, and it wants to stay in control, and it's losing control. So what it is doing is connecting with your fear, with your emotions, with your mental thoughts, so that it doesn't have to lose control. However, many of us are awakening to this higher frequency, and we are saying, no, we're standing up. And that's what humanity can do. That is why it's so powerful for all of us to work on ourselves first. It's always about you working on yourself and building yourself to a higher frequency, and then the others that are doing the same will connect with you in the collective energy, which means the energy around the earth is positive, negative, but now it is more positive because more people are awakening up to the darkness. In other words, to control and things that aren't right and things that don't make any sense. And we're confronting it. We're letting it be known. And the dark cannot hide anymore. In other words, the lower frequency has to be accountable. And people that you never thought would ever be accountable are now saying, no, I'm not going to be part of that war. I'm not going to live like that anymore. We need to change. History has to change, and it can. And that is what is happening. The light is getting brighter, and that's your God source, the great central sun. That is your connection to the dimensions, the higher dimensions that are here. And we are actually changing. We are growing. It's wonderful.
So when you say control, I tend to think of power, and
Yeah.
especially the desire that some people have to just have absolute power. The more power, the better. We can see it in politics, we can see it, on the global news, we can see it in companies, we can see it with CEOs. My question is power then inherently something that stems from a lower frequency? And if I have a feeling of wanting control over a certain situation or wishing for more power so I can make more decisions, is that something that where I need to check myself, or is it just healthy ambition? What are your thoughts on that?
Absolutely. So I like that question. Thank you very much, because it's very powerful. And that's exactly what my role is. It is about personal control in a positive way, meaning go within inside and look at yourself. How are you responding to things? And sometimes you can't control other people. You can't change other people, but you can expand upon you and grow yourself. So when I do energy sessions with people, and also my practice is about energy psychology, it's all about what is going on inside you. What feelings are going on inside you? In other words, how are you reacting to things? How are you responding to things? And that's what's within the cellular structure. So the things that are stuck within the negative frequency of your body. So in the beginning, we started talking about energy loops, about all of us having it when we come in. Well, now we can actually go into being quiet and ask those to be released, because this energy is actually helping bring in the higher dimensional energy to help you clear those old energy programming. So it's about programming and beliefs and behaviors. So when you find yourself in a situation that is a negative situation and you want to defend yourself, a lot of times that is because it's in your DNA, is that you've been hurt in some way or you've been triggered. And that is the energy loop that has been triggered within your cellular structure. So as you go in and do the self-healing, the energy comes in and starts to unwrap those energy loops. And it starts to reset them to a higher frequency, that your body, your emotions, your brain, your intuition starts to realize, hey, that wasn't a nice thing to say to that person. I wouldn't want to say that to myself. So then you have to take a look at what your behaviors are, how you respond to things. That's about being more in the positive energy than the negative energy. But there's so many people that are still there, they don't choose to change, which is fine. The thing is that you be an example. Be an example that you do not have to fight with them. You do not have to challenge them. You can stay in your own power by saying, that doesn't serve me anymore. Thank you. Just like what I said, only ask for the light to come into your energy field. I choose to only have light into my energy field. So saying that out loud is in your energy field. And it gives you more power when you have those triggers, and realize that those are old energy loops. I don't want to do that anymore. I want to be a bigger and expanded person. So that's what healing is about getting unstuck from the old things that kept you doing the same thing over and over again. Your old anger, your old resentment. Why am I angry at that person? I don't even know that person. But they triggered something that happened that never was resolved in your energy field, and within your body. So it's always about the physical body, and then the emotional, mental, and spiritual, the etheric field around you, and how it affects your physical body now. And that's exactly what the Ascension symptoms are all about. It is affecting it, but also it is releasing it. It is releasing it. So you can go in and you can change and recognize it. The change that needs to be done in you.
So I have an example of that, I think, and I'm curious why you think this happened. So maybe about a year ago, I was in a situation with somebody very near and dear to me when they triggered me. Essentially, they were just insulting to me, and I was extremely irritated, angry, frustrated. It just felt so disrespected, belittled. I had all the feelings. It was just awful. I could not comprehend how we got there. It felt, though it was not a romantic thing, it felt like a heartbreak. That's what I recognized it as. And I think for the first time, I don't know why, but I thought I tend to always shove my feelings down there and hope they never resurface. But now I thought, do you know what? I'm just going to sit with it and I'm going to feel the feelings and I'm going to feel bad and sad and, belittled, and whatever I felt, it was okay, but I'm going to sit with it. And I did. And in about 2 months, the thoughts, the triggers, the anger just started fading away. Now, the interesting part is that almost the same situation to a T happened this summer again. My reaction, though, was completely different. I thought, how funny, this happened again. What do you know? People don't change. But it wasn't, I didn't take it personal anymore. I wasn't angry with it. I just, it was just another thing. Like if it's raining outside, it's raining. It's a fact. It happened and then it's done. Does it have in any way anything to do with the help of this energy to release those triggers and work on it? Because it doesn't feel like I've done a lot of work.
Exactly. It's ascension wisdom that's coming through. It's your raise into higher frequency, your DNA realizing it. And so when we back up, how did it get there in the first place? You felt belittled, heartache, felt very uncomfortable inside. Well, those are the energy loops of situations that happened in your physical life and also the other lives that you brought in that is affecting your life now. And this frequency is helping awaken the ability to heal that it no longer has to trigger you the way it did before. Just like you just said, it happened before and then you notice, that you had changed. That is the new frequency. That is the awakening up of your own power that you have. Amazing. It's wonderful. That is actually proof or evidence that this energy is changing us. The younger people, which we talked about before, the younger people have a different vibration when they came in because the energy field started changing. And they are starting to live in their divineness instead of the things that were programmed into them or society. Like they're looking at things and saying, no, I'm not comfortable with that. And the more time you realize that you're uncomfortable, that is the healing of the deep wounds that are inside. That's what healing work is all about. It's about healing your electromagnetic field within your cellular structure. And when you talk about cellular structure, you're talking about your DNA and all the tissues in your body, everything, besides the emotional stuff. So what happened to you was the emotional stuff came up and it was triggered that you don't like that feeling anymore. But you no longer are going to stand for it. And now you're going to say, okay, I don't have to be in that feeling anymore. And your soul knew, okay, you're absolutely right. And then with this energy continuing to change, helping that DNA awaken to the balance within that trigger, the realizing that it really doesn't have to affect you. And also you, when you talked about betrayal or heartache, it's about the heart center. It's about the energy flowing out. And you are an example, meaning when we experience these things, we start to see a change in ourselves. And that's how we make a difference in other people. And that is the awakening that's happening now. That is the collective field of heart coherence. Heart coherence means the consciousness, positivity, coming from your heart of compassion and love, and not heartache and pain. and not putting another person down because you're unhappy with yourself. Everything that's coming out now, the darkness, is the old pain, is the old pain. And many will never change. That's okay. But you don't have to be affected by it. That's the whole key. And it's very good evidence, Sabrina. That's what's happening to you. You're changing, you're growing. And that's what's wonderful when you see that. And nobody can take those experiences away from you, can they? You experienced it. And there's a reason why you experienced it, because you're ready. And you gave permission to do this work as a light worker. And as they say, as a light worker, somebody that is sending their love and compassion out into humanity. First of all, caring for themselves. Start to have love for yourself. You don't need to be treated like that anymore. And you won't. The key is to be compassionate about it. Don't bring forward the negative back to them, which you normally would to survive. All right? You were challenged, and so you're going to fight back. You don't have to. You can just sit with it and realize that you don't have to do that anymore. You can send them energy to help them not be in that pain anymore and say negative things to you and other people in their lives.
You're so right. And I think one of the things that I think a lot of us do, but that would have been my tendency as well, is if somebody hurt you, then you want to hurt them back. You felt pain, you want them to feel pain. The wonderful thing is, once those feelings for me got resolved, I didn't need that. I didn't want that. And had it happened, it wouldn't have brought me any kind of joy.
Exactly.
So it's also, I think, releasing, because say that I would have wanted somebody to experience the same pain, or I would have wanted revenge, that wouldn't have made me a very good human being. But just understanding that, it's not, they don't understand, it's okay, and everybody has their own truth. I think that's the main idea that I've been centering around this past year, which is that everybody has their own truth, and that's absolutely fine. We don't need to agree on the same truth. I can have mine, you can have yours. We can still be civil with each other, which is not the case in social media or politics.
Exactly.
But that's how I see it.
Exactly.
So, about these ascension symptoms, you've said they're happening and they're helping us ascend. But I'm also wondering, there might be people that just don't want to grow, or they're not interested in it. People just stuck in, their victim mentality of, this happened to me, this is why I have to be like this. There's no chance for me to change. People that just feel so justified to their anger, to their hatred. Can they resist this, or do they not have a way out?
Can they resist it, or they don't have a way out? Oh, they can resist it. And so when you go back to your soul, the contracts that you made and why you're here, sometimes people are here to learn this lesson of this lifetime. And a lot of them could be martyrs, they can be victims and whatever. And they choose not to, because that's the lessons that they're going to learn. The next lifetime, though, they will have that wisdom that they lived this lifetime. Just like the children or people that die, and you say they're good people, why do they die? There's so many reasons. What it's all about, you grabbing or living or knowing that wisdom within, so that when you encounter these things, your wisdom is what's going to come out, not the pain. And some, as I said before, are stuck in those energy loops. They're stuck in the old programming, because if they try to do different, they're not going to be loved. They're not going to be accepted. They're not going to have their families. That's the biggest thing, is about fear. A fear and control, that if they don't conform and do certain things, this is what's going to happen. And society, especially with the environment, but also the economy and everything that's happening, survival. And the negative keeps coming in and talk about the old history. Well, this is what's going to happen. This is what's going to happen. So it's part of keeping that negative fear going within their cellular structure of their body. And they choose not to. And many of us have gone through that wisdom. We've learned those things. And sometimes people's energies don't resonate with you anymore, which means, you come into their life for a season, you learn certain things, then you move on. But some people never move on because they still feel guilty. Well, if I leave them, then I'm abandoning them, and I don't want to be abandoned. That's the guilt. That is, all the shame and the things that's been imprinted, that this is how they have to live their lives. So those are the negative imprints that are within the human body right now. And a lot of people are saying, no, I don't have anything in common with them anymore. I want to grow. I want to reach out. And that's when your loved ones, your main guides, all the helpers that you've had from the beginning of time, if you choose, will help you find different people, relate to different people, get interested in different things, and start to expand. And then you start to see, you can look back and say, oh my gosh, I am so glad that I'm no longer in that situation, that relationship. However, you can still send them love and light, always, always from the compassion. But you start to see your growth. And that is what is evolving as us as humans. That's what we came here to do, is to evolve as a soul and to get this wisdom of coming from the light, coming from love, not from pain, not from hurt. Are you coming from love? So yeah, it's hard, but it's about energy that no longer resonates with you. And that a lot of people will never change their energy. And that's okay. But you don't have to take it on.
That's so true. And I think it's one of the things that are so simple to say, but it's just so, it takes a while to really understand it. And not just understand it, but apply it. Because I don't think there's anybody that could say, no, that isn't true. But I think when we're faced with a situation of, being in a marriage of I don't know how many years, and then feeling like things haven't been good for a long time. But do we leave? No, we keep thinking, is it going to get better? Probably not if it's been happening for a long time. So it's those times where we really need to break patterns and think of what we really need and want.
Exactly. You got it. You got it.
Sheila, I want to ask you, because we've been talking about ascension symptoms, we've been talking about people being more in tune with the energy. And there's a term that I've been hearing for the past few years quite a lot about, and that's highly sensitive people. Now, you've also mentioned that there's these younger people that have came into this world with a different DNA. Does it have any connection? And what is actually your view on highly sensitive people? How do you define it? And what do we need to know about it that maybe we're missing in whatever is there online about it?
Okay, so many people have heard the word indigo children, all right? And indigo was actually put out there, the word indigo, through one of my mentors and the people that I'm part of is Dr. Lee Carroll, who channels Cryon. And Lee Carroll and his first wife, Jan Tolbert, wrote the book Indigo Children back in 1999. And this book was about the magnetic field and the energy of the young people that are coming in now, where their energy centers are different than ours. And many of them come in as savants, autistic, Asperger's, ADHD, ADD, all that stuff that's coming in now. They're really coming in with a knowledge of a higher frequency of knowing. And that's why a lot of them don't learn the same way that some have always learned in the school system and in society. However, remember when we talked about the darkness, we talked about control and how things have always been taught. And science is proving otherwise now. However, the darkness won't let it come out. And those children, a lot of them have been chemically, controlled to be able to fit into today's society, how we teach and do. In reality, they don't need that. They are being dumbed down by the chemicals. And that is the fear base, that's the control, that's where they don't fit into society. But really, what's happening, just like what I said about the young people that are born since 1987, they are in their own truth now. They are going within inside and saying, no, I don't believe that. I don't want to do that. They're starting to stand in their divineness, who they are. And the divineness is the ability in that frequency that's here now. That's the young ones. And it's coming out. The young ones are going to rule the earth, but also it's in the energy field. They're going to pick that up quicker. And the advancements, and it's already here. It's been here for quite a while. But of course, society is the way it is. It's happening. Those children, the young ones, all right, they have a knowing. They have a knowing. And I love it when they come to me. That's the grandmother wisdom, you know, loving, compassionate. Yes, you're good. You're worthy. You know, you don't have to be fearful. You know, stand in your love, stand in your power. And many of them feel unworthy is because of all those old energy loops that have been taught to them for survival. So now many are saying, I don't resonate with that frequency anymore, or I don't believe in that doctrine. By going inside and saying, does that make sense? It doesn't make any sense. For me, it's not comfortable. I'm not going to do that. That's where you take action and change. Get out of that victim role and stand in your power, your warrior power of your divineness, your mastery.
That rings so true, because I have to tell you, I was born in 89, and one of the things that was not easy for me to deal with in life is my moral compass is so strong. It's so annoying. It's so annoying every time I say, you know, I'm just going to do what I'm told. I'm just going to follow whatever it is. I'm going to follow that. I just can't. Whenever I feel like there's an injustice or there's something being done, like, it's this visceral feeling that I would wish I could turn off, because many times it annoys me more than it helps me. I do think it's for the greater good, though. It's not very practical, but it's very much in line with what you're saying, questioning beliefs, questioning what's happening.
Exactly. It's a wonderful time to live in humanity.
Well, that's what I wanted to ask you about, because earlier when we were talking about the energy that's here, you also said it came here very fast, it's changing really fast, but then you also said it's going to get harder. Yes. So what does that mean to you? What can we expect?
Okay, so many of the things that have been hidden from us, all right, is coming to the light. And coming to the light is our helpers that are out there, all right? Our ability to go inward and tap into that, and our helpers. We did come from the stars, and a lot of people do not understand that, and they're fearful because of what have been taught to them, that it's a bad thing, but it's really a good thing. And it has all to do with the multiverse energy of the universe, the magnetic field, and how it's connected to the toward grid around the Earth. So if you listen or look at pictures of NASA, and it shows that grid around the Earth, what is happening is that grid is changing and brighter, getting stronger and stronger and stronger, is because our helpers are becoming more in line with who we are. We're recognizing them and we're using them. Now, I'm a galactic grandmother conduit, which means I bring the frequency through, and my knowledge and my wisdom, also the knowledge and wisdom from my life, all my lives, but especially this lifetime. Why am I here? What's my purpose? And so when you can tap into that, realizing that you're not the only one in the universe here. We have galactic beings, all right, that gave us our DNA. And a lot of people don't want to recognize that because they don't want to change the history books. But scientifically, as proven, that our DNA, which is 23 chromosomes physically, and everything is balance. Everything is about balance when you talk about sacred geometry and the actual full physics of the 12 aspects of frequency. Sacred geometry in a numeration of 12, not 10, but 12. And when you connect with the frequency, you connect with the power of the magnetic field that's above us. So, scientifically, what they have found is that on the telomeres do a lot of things, but it has a lot to do with our aging process, our physical bodies, but it also has a lot to do with our spirituality, our divineness, our connection with a higher source, the higher spiritual level that we have. And scientists have proven that the second chromosome has been changed. And it happened somewhere about 50,000 years ago, compared to the humans that were on life, or the humanoids, or the apes, or whatever you want to call what they have found. They had 24 chromosomes. They did not have the telomeres different on the second telomere. And what it was that it has two endings on the second telomeres. Instead of just one ending telomere on each of the chromosomes, it has two, and it's inverted. And so it shows that we only have 23 physical chromosomes that can be seen. However, everything is balanced. And so the multidimensional frequency, the higher frequency to tap into this energy, is the 24th. And when these portals that we talked about before, those nodes and the nodes of positive energy consciousness grids. So remember, consciousness is energy. Your thoughts are energy. It's all about energy. That can change your thoughts, the way you behave, everything to do with your life. So now, we got those 23 chromosomes with the telomeres inverted from something beyond human life. And indigenous and aboriginal people have always known we came from the stars. Meaning astrology, the energy, it has to do with the moon cycles. It has to do with the eclipse that is here now. It has to do with the ocean waves and the cycles of a woman, 28 days. All right, we've got all these things that are all numerology. All right, and the Mayan calendar. And it was thought by the indigenous people, foreseen all along, that something was going to happen, that the end of the earth. Something was going to happen, but what happened was that new energy frequency came in to change the world, to change the thinking, to change everything that's going on now. So that 24th chromosome energy is becoming awakened to us. The children that came in 87 already have that higher frequency because we gave permission as humans to tap into our divineness. So our galactic families have always been here. When we always talk about spirit guides or our guardian angels or our loved ones that have passed over, yes, that's our soul, because we never die. We are part of this energy field of love. It's a higher frequency that comes from the galactic field. And the energy that is here now is our helpers. And a lot of people have been told it's the aliens that are going to take over the world and hurt us and all this other stuff. That is farthest from the truth. However, the human linear mind thinks differently, and they have to conceptualize certain things, analyze it so they understand it. So if you just keep it very simple and go back into the energy field that's around you and how you feel more love when you're quiet, and you can feel your loved ones, you know that they're there. And you have all these serendipities and synchronicity things that happen in your life to give you proof that it's happening. This is the galactic family of light source. When we talk about light source, we're talking about all of our galactic ancestors in the cosmos, meaning the energy field that have been here. And many of us that teach this have a relationship with the higher frequencies from those galactic fields. Mine is the galactic grandmothers, which mean all of the grandmothers. And many people say, well, who were they? Were they the Pleiadians or were they the Arcturians or whatever? Those are actually races or civilizations or planets that we got our physical, spiritual, and emotional DNA. That's the 24th chromosome. That is our human template, blueprint, that is within our cellular structure, within our energy, our soul. And it came from different planets that we ascended from. So when we talk about ascension symptom right now, we as humans are ascending to a higher vibration, and we will help another planet ascend. Earth will help another planet ascend. We'll be earthlings, just like the Pleiadians from the star constellation Pleiadia, all right, is our galactic star mothers that gave us the DNA. 7 of them came to Lemuria in Hawaii. Now, there's a big controversy about that, but there's so much involved in it. Then when we talk about Egypt and we talk about the energy portals that are so sacred around the earth and how they resonate with all these eclipses in the energy center, those are our galactic families that are here. You know, the Ectorians, the Lyrans, the Syrians, the Orions, those, and Andromedians and Hathors, when you talk about Egypt and Greece, they're all connected with our galactic beings that have been here since the beginning of time to help us. And it's getting stronger. And as this energy changes and people are waking up, they get out of the fear and realize there's nothing to be fearful for. There was old energy. There was old, but they have a truce now because this magnetic field has changed completely. And that is the changes that is happening in the world. And when I said the timeline, things are going to get worse, more things are going to be changing. In another 20, 30 years, you're not going to recognize what we live in now. This change of frequency is the quantum change of energy, meaning how we tap into the galactic magnetic field and the energy of Mother Earth and who we are as humans, right? And so we, and our frequency, can change that. And as we continue in this quantum energy that is actually changing and recalibrating us up into 2030. So the time period was 1994 when the tilt of the earth started to change and the actual vibration in the earth started to come out. It was a 36-year time period, which was prophesized by the indigenous and by astrology. It was all in the books. But humanity, linear, human, have to change it around because they didn't understand. At that time, they didn't have the knowledge that they have now. They didn't have the higher frequency that the young ones are coming in with now. Now they're starting to get it. So the time period and halfway point was 2012, when those energy portals, 12 sets. So 12 times 2 is 24. 24 resonates with the multidimensional frequency of your DNA, your spiritualness, the core spiritual truth of who you are. And you came from the stars. And you have loved ones in the galactic realm that are here to help us. Society wants to control that. It's all part of the dark, but things are coming to the light. And a lot of people say, why don't they just come? Because we're not ready as a society. You can see what is happening in the world is that the control is getting less and less is because it is coming out to the light, what has actually been happening. When we reach that part of higher quantum, it probably won't be right away. Probably be after 2030. But as I said, within 20 years, you're not going to recognize it. It's going to be more of the energy, how to support ourselves with sustainable food that is good for us, with the actual water salientation of having cleansing water. We got plenty of water here. And also the magnetic grid, how to have power in a different way than what we're doing now. So it's all part of in the field and the helpers that are going to come help us, and for us to not be afraid of them, to embrace them. And that's why I'm here sharing my story and being authentic. This is who I am. And I try to teach. I do teach. I don't try. I do teach. And it's what has been taught to me by my galactic family, my galactic star mothers, star sisters, fathers, everybody. And they're all still here. The energy is still here. And they keep coming in. The ley lines, when you talk about the timeline, a lot of people say, what do you talk about the timeline? What does that mean, Sheila? Well, the timeline of the old energy, how society worked. And now things are coming to the light. The darkness can't hide anymore. And this timeline is a different frequency that we're going to start to live in. That's the quantum energy that is here. That's the energy, pliable energy that we see. And when the dark does completely come out, when it's actually brought out, the higher source is going to be able to bring more understanding of the helpers that we have, then they will come through. So many of us are channeling the higher frequency. We're channeling who we really are as light beings, our entities as light beings. A lot of us, many people know us as angels. It is divine workers of God, however you want to feel or connect with it. It's a higher frequency as a light being. That's why we talk about higher light frequency and lower dark frequency. It's about the light. And it comes from the magnetic field of the galactic.
Now, one other subject that I wanted to touch upon with you was consciousness and the idea that we're all connected, because I have to tell you, it does not feel that way sometimes. It feels like we're just fighting with each other, just having different opinions, and not just different opinions, but it feels like we're on different camps. You know, politically, whatever else is going on, we're always looking for reasons to be divided instead of being one. So tell me, what is your view on consciousness? How can we understand it? And also, how can we connect to it if we're feeling, you know, like an island of one?
Okay. So when I talked about consciousness is energy, and energy is thoughts, it has been scientifically proven by the Heart Math Institute, by Princeton University, and by NASA, that the energy field that we feel within our hearts and our brain connection with heart math is what we think is what comes out. So all the things that we've been programmed to survive are actually energy, thoughts. I got to do this, I got to do that, this is how I live. Those are thought processes. When you always are in the frequency in your consciousness field, so the consciousness field is, you know, you see everything that you're doing, you know, consciously going around. The subconscious holds a lot of stuff. The subconscious holds the negative frequency that you came in with of survival. The consciousness field of positivity is compassion and love. So when you can connect with that, you can start to change the responses that you have in your life. That's why I talked about the issues in your tissues, meaning things that are stuck on those energy loops that you came in with. What are they? Why do you think a certain way? If I retaliate, I got to retaliate. I got to protect myself. That is thoughts. That is old energy loops. That is old deep negative energy of survival. Now, if you put your thoughts into positive thinking, just like putting it out there, I'm going to do this, and do it, follow through, you can change your consciousness thoughts. It's about what you think. And earlier we talked about, you know, when you're in the environment with somebody that's negative, you don't have to fight with them. You don't have to get into their energy field, because that's what they want you to do. They want you to stay in that energy loop of not your own consciousness, your own power of thoughts and energy. Tesla, you know, all the stuff with Tesla and all the stuff that's coming out is about quantum energy, consciousness being energy. It's the thoughts, the things that you think. And if you think negative thoughts, if you go around negative people, you pick up their negative thoughts. All right? And then you have a choice whether to let them come into your field or not. And that's why a lot of practitioners and indigenous always say you got to put a bubble of light around you, protect yourself. But this new energy is that you are the light. You don't have to put the magnetic field. You don't have to put the bubble around you to protection, because you stand in that light. Say, I am the light. Nothing can touch me. Nothing can come into my energy field. That's where you take your power back. The consciousness is energy. What you think and how you respond to it is what you will get. And just like when somebody always says, it's never going to happen to me. Oh, it never has. It will never happen to me, right? It won't, because you just put it out there. So just like affirmations are very good. I am divine, and I am so glad for this wonderful day that is opening up. I am so excited about what's going to come today. Change the thoughts and say, oh, Jury, I got to do this, I got to do that. Oh, my time schedule, I'm not going to have enough. You just put that out there, that energy. So you say, I am going to have a very productive day. Just change the thoughts. Change the way that you respond to things. And don't beat yourself up anymore if you cannot follow through with what you want to do today. It's okay. It's okay. Just stay in today's energy of you did the best you could with what you had. And then try to be a better person by putting the positive energy out there.
It's such a beautiful message. I absolutely love it. And I think that's something that a lot of us should think more of every day. How can I be a better person for those around me? How can I be a better person for my family, for my co-workers, for everybody around me? How can I show up the best way I can and make them feel loved and valued and seen?
Exactly.
I think very often our conversation is around I'm not feeling seen, or I'm not feeling loved, or I'm feeling angered by somebody else. But we almost never think of how can I be a blessing to those around me? Or not even a blessing, but how can I make somebody smile, you know? How can I ensure that they have a great day because I was part of it?
Well, you can. You can read somebody's mind, or you can feel their energy, what's going through them. That's the advantage of being in a higher frequency. When you change your frequency, you're able to tap into their energy in a powerful way. And a lot of people say, well, I don't want them to know what I'm thinking. It's not about thinking. It is about the flow of energy that's coming from you that has them feel it. They recognize it. Okay? Another thing I tell people is, there's techniques you can use, but I always say shift. When you start to think something and it's negative, all right, recognize how many thoughts are negative in your brain. Things that you say. I got to do this. I should do that. Or whatever. And that's you're saying you're putting that out there. So I want you to think of shifting into the positive. Instead of the thoughts of the negative, shift. And a lot of people say, well, I'll be shifting, 1,000 times a day. Yeah, you will. But think of it as shitting, shitting on yourself. All right? You're really putting that energy out there for that to happen. Instead of calling upon the positive energy, I'm doing great today. I accomplished that yesterday. Good kudos, Sheila. Good kudos, Build yourself up and say it out loud. Say it out loud because it's in the frequency field. The more in the frequency field, the more you get stronger and stronger. And you can say shift, 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 shift all the time. People say, what are you doing? It sounds like shitting. And it's like, yeah, it does. But it's like I understand my thought process in my consciousness field. Things that I'm thinking is energy. And I'm making it happen. So I'm going to change it. I no longer live in the old negative field. I no longer am going to think like that. You can say that and then do it. The thing is, you're taking action. You're taking action. You're taking your power back. You have so much power.
Exactly. Sheila, thank you so much for sharing, these changes with us and helping us understand, I think, the world around us a bit better, because these are things that nobody talks about. I mean, you turn on the TV, you will hear 1,001 things about the world will be what we talked about today, which feels by order of importance so much bigger than everything else that we could possibly see on the news.
Absolutely.
Now, I want to ask you, for people that want to know more or that want to connect with you, where can they find you?
Absolutely. You can find me on YouTube, my Sheila B Healing YouTube channel, Galactic Ascension Academy, or my website, SheilaTillich.com, SheilaTillich. And they also can reach me through email. So that is Sheila@SheilaTillich.com. So they can reach me all that way.